Okay, everybody. Let's talk about transformations and do some more practice. So, we started out talking the other day about different letters, A, F of B, X minus C plus D. Okay? So, the different letters indicate different things. Okay? So, we've got A that we got to consider, B we have to consider, C we have to consider, and D we have to consider. Now, so you know, these two are horizontal, C and B. And the vertical, I have enough room to write that one, are A and D. Okay? A and B. One of the reasons I wrote this function the way I did is because if you factor out the B, and you'll learn more about this as we go, if you pull the B out, then this will tell you whether it's a stretch or a shrink. If you don't factor the B out, it still tells you whether it's a stretch or a shrink. But C changes, the location of C changes if you write it like this. Okay, so there's another way to write this. A, F of Bx minus C plus D. If you write it this way, then you have to do some thinking. And when we get to trig, we'll deal with that more. But for right now, what we like to teach you to do is to factor it out, okay? So what we're saying in number one here is we're saying suppose that 6, 1 is a point on the graph of y equal f of x. For each of the following, then name the transformation and give a point on the transformed graph, if you will. So in A, we have y equals f of 3x. So 3 is B. B equals 3. And what we hopefully have learned, and I know it's been short notice here, this is just a whole new year, which is really challenging because we're moving fast. If B is greater than 1, then it's the opposite of if A is greater than 1. Instead of being a stretch, it is a shrink, okay? So it's going to be the opposite. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 3x and you're going to set it equal to your original 0.6, and you're going to solve for x, okay? So when you solve for x, you're just going to divide this side by 3 and this side by 3, and you're going to get x equal 2, okay? The only thing that was acted on in this example right here was the x value, not the y value. So your transformed point is 2, 1. And we say it's a, excuse me, horizontal, and I'm going to abbreviate, shrink, okay, of 2. Of 2. I'm thinking about that too. Of 3. Okay? 2 is 1/3 of 6. All right. So if you look at B, it's C. Now we have C equals 2. And I was saying the other day, think opposites when you have parentheses. So you want to look at that and say it's a horizontal translation 2 units to the left, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take and write x plus 2 equals 6. And then I'm going to solve for x, minus 2, minus 2. So x equal 4. My transformed point is 4, 1. And it's a horizontal translation 2 units to the left. And it's to the left because it was a +2. If it was a -2, it would be to the right. Okay, in our next example, D equals 5. Excuse me. So, if you look at this, it says f of x plus 5. We know what f of x is. F of x is 1. We should know from our Algebra 1 and probably Algebra 2 that we should have an understanding, a primary understanding coming in here of our transformations. So what would you do here? You would just say y equals 1 plus 5. Y equals 6, okay? So our transformed point is going to be 6, 6. We just moved the whole thing up 5 units. It was at 6, 1, and it's a vertical translation. Some students of 5, that was the number. Some students will say it's a vertical shift. You can use shift. Okay. I would like you to try a couple of these. I will post up, I think the key is already posted up, but I'm going to give you some time to work on D, E, F, G, H, and I, okay, in a minute. So here we go on the next section, just to make sure we're good to go. We have a graph, okay, that's already here. All right. Now, when I'm working with a graph like this, what I like to think about are the endpoints, okay? Here's an endpoint. Here's an endpoint. Endpoint, connection, you know, the distinct points, let's call it that. And if we look at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down 2. So we have -6, -2 is one of our points. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Our next point is -3 and 3. Our third point is -1 and 0. And our fourth point is 2 and 2. So this says, given the graph of f of x, and that's f of x, describe the transformation, sketch the graph of the following functions, and find the domain and range for each. Okay, so what I like to do in this case is look at my transformation, okay, and think about it transformationally. So what I see here is I see that it's a vertical stretch of 2. That means all the y values are going to get doubled, okay? And it is going to be moved left. Hope you yelled at the video. It's going to be moved right 5 units. Okay? So we had our 4 points over there, right? We can take each point and just transform it. So we can take -6, -2, and the transformed point will be vertical stretch of 2, which means -2 gets doubled, -4, and right 5. So if I take -6 plus 5, -6 plus 5 is -1, and -2 doubled is -4. So -1, -4 should be my first point, okay? Then I would take -3, +3. And I'm going to transform that guy using my new rules. Vertical stretch of 2, 5 right. So what is -3 plus 5? It's +2. And what's 3 doubled? It's 6. So the next point is going to be 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I should be able to draw this line. Okay. Then I'm going to transform the third point. -1, 0. Going to transform that. -1 plus 5. -1 plus 5 is 4. 0 times 2 is 0. My third point will be right here. And let's just do the fourth point. Fourth point is 2, 2. And I'm going to transform that by adding 5 to 2 is 7. And 2 times 2 is 4. I just did the same thing every time. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's right there. Now, I just connect that dot. And I take these two and I connect these two. Okay? And that is so something to consider when you're thinking about, did I do it right? You can think about that. And so what I'm going to look at is look at from here to the x-axis. It's 1, 2, 3. Now look at from here to the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6. Double 3, you get 6. Okay? All of these points, whoops, hit the wrong thing. But this point and this point should be 5 units apart. Same thing with every other point. Okay? I'm going to leave it for you guys to work on the rest of it. One more thing. Right here, we're saying remember to factor. Remember to factor. What that is referring to is inside these parentheses. I'm going to get you started. Okay? What that means is you're going to write 1/2 f, and I don't care if you use brackets or double parentheses, minus 1 x. What goes here? Minus 4. When you distribute this -1 to here and this -1 to here, you should get back what you had up top. Now you can describe the transformations and move on. Okay? Let's work on this worksheet. I will post up the key for all of this. I'm redoing my key in nice color. I'm not going to make a video for all of it, so if you have questions tomorrow, please ask.